There's no other loot, right? No. And despite arriving at the Monument Island, so you had to take a gondola from the station up to Monument Island, right? So where did we come from? Did we come from there? No, we came through there. Where did we come from? I honestly think that all these kind of floating buildings and skylines is just giving the game designers an excuse to not design things properly. Because they designed the skyline thing to be kind of really weird and unnecessarily complex. There's a hotel there, and like, it's not a city. It's not a city. Like there's no infrastructure. There's no roads. It doesn't really make any sense. And the excuse that they have is that, well, everything flies anyway. You know, everything moves around anyway. So why would anything be, you know, in the same place? But it doesn't make for a good city. It just makes everything kind of just floating around and not make any sense. I don't even see where we came from now. And it literally doesn't matter because it is these kind of skyline things. And you just kind of ride around on those. Like you can learn a lot about a city by looking at its streets and how it's laid out and the planning and, you know, where things are. Like harbors and business districts and markets and residential districts and all that kind of stuff. You can learn a lot about a city that way. Wait, what? Gear is special? I know. New shirt, nitro vest, increased radius of explosion of explosive weapon splash damage. No. I don't have any explosive weapons. Whereas, like this city, there's no roads, there's no layout, everything moves, and so there's no. You don't really understand the city. Like, what's the most important part of the city? You don't know. I mean, symbolically, the most important thing is that, I guess, because you see that from every part of the city. But you know, what supports the economy of the city, for example? Like, what does it produce? How does it sustain itself as an economic entity? You don't know, because the city is not really there. It's just kind of floating buildings. There's no coherence to the city. Oh, and guys running at you. Why would he just run at you like that? How does he even know I'm here? Yeah, so you can learn a lot about a city by just looking at it, you know? I mean, what kind of city is New York? It's like, it's a port, right? You can see the New York, the Manhattan Island is an island. And it's like a gateway to America from Europe. You can see like from the location of the city in relation to, you know, the rest of the world and the rest of the country. You can kind of tell what kind of city it is. Or, you know, if a city has large industrial areas, then you know it's a manufacturing city, for example.
Stand down! Stand down!
The tolling. Alright, the toll, I don't know what that means. So we went from there around and like they just made these skyline things unnecessarily complex. It's like, hey, we have this skyline mechanic. How can we make something cool out of it? And they turned it into a roller coaster, which doesn't really make sense if it's supposed to be like transport and, you know, like freight and personal transport. Then it should be efficient. But this is not efficient. It's extravagant. The gameplay doesn't match the narrative. Oh, there's a door there. Let me come around here, see if there's a loot. Hey guys. What are you white guys? Oh look, Prophet. Do you have loot in here?
Need to head to the roof. Take that skyline to Monument Island.
Alright. Well, elevator.
I know why you've come, false shepherd. I see every sin that blackens your soul. Wounded Knee, the Pinkertons, the drinking, the gambling, and of course, Anna. And now, to repay a debt, you've come from my land. But not all debts can be repaid, Booker.
You don't know me, pal.
Prophecy is my business, Mr. DeWitt. As blood is yours. Do you know why these men will die for me? Because I have seen their future in the glory, and hence they are content. What brought you to Columbia, Booker? Bring us the girl and wipe away the debt? This will end in blood, DeWitt. Then again, it always does with you, doesn't it? It always ends in blood.
Jesus.
You've come to lead my lamb astray, but thy crook is bent and thy path is twisted. Go back to the Sodom from which you came.
So again, they're drip feeding parts of a story to you. It doesn't really explain anything. Anna, let's see, what did he say? Wounded Knee, the Pinkertons. I don't know what happened to the Pinkertons. Wounded Knee, Pinkertons, Anna. Bring the girl, wipe away your debt. Alright, we'll learn more about that later on. But that's really weird though, because like we don't know our own character. Comstock is telling us about the character that we're supposed to be playing, and this is really like I've always found this uncomfortable with this game because you don't know who you are. It's like you are playing a stranger, and that's not something that all games have. Like if you play, well, I guess you know a lot of games are like that because you play as a character, but a lot of characters aren't this involved with the story. If you remember the first two Bioshock games, like you don't, like the first game you don't really have a past. You do, but it's not real anyway, so you're just you. In the second game you're a big daddy and you find out about your past too, but the idea is that you became a big daddy and so you kind of forget all that stuff, or that was kind of wiped away from your memory. And so, you know, a lot of games will have you play this blank slate character, but here we are not a blank slate character. Apparently there's a lot of history that we've been involved in, but you as the player don't know what that history is, and so then I've never felt a connection with Booker DeWitt in this game, because Booker is not me. First of all, he's a white man, and secondly, like it always, well, that was fast. It always feels like you're playing a stranger. It always feels like you don't know the person you're playing, and it's true, you don't know the person you're playing. Hey. Nope. What is going on here? Alright, so now we're flying away. Action sequence. Check it out. Balloons, skyline. Why would that skyline be so extravagant? I don't. Alright, let's go in and shoot guys, because that's what the game wants us to do right now.
I'll cut your heart out.
Why? Why are you so mean? No, stop it.
Gotta find the controls to take this thing to Monument Island.
Like the Booker tells you what you are doing, so it's not even like you're telling, because you're supposedly you're controlling the character, so you're telling the character what we're doing. No, in this game he tells you what you're doing. It just seems so clumsy to me. And you don't know. Oh, her. Well, we might as well do this the way the game intends.
It's okay. I'm not gonna hurt you.
Can we hurt her? Can I punch her? Can I try? Let me try. Oh, you can't. You can't punch her.
Sit down, and everything will be fine.
You can't punch her. Interesting. Let's see, where are we going? We're tilting to the side quite severely. I just want to see where we are. No idea where we are. Don't see the statue neither. Alright. Oh wait, is it underneath us? Who cares?
Okay, I'm sure I can get this thing going.
The Lord forgives everything. And I'm just a prophet. So I don't have to. Amen.
What?
Amen.
Jesus! Hell out of here!
And now she's on fire, and so is the entire ship. She takes ages to die, holy cow, look how long it takes her to die. No screaming though, that's unusual. Usually they scream a lot when they set themselves on fire. We are jumping. And
Close.
are we coming here? Are we coming here? We're coming here. Well, that was convenient. And that airship is going down in flames, right. And now we're here, we're right underneath the statue. And the city is still just buildings in the clouds, there's no city plan for us to see. That's a real shame. Rapture didn't really have much of a city plan either, but if you kind of look at, there are maps, like you can kind of look at maps and see how the buildings are arranged. I'm hoping to find loot, but it does not appear that there is loot. Alright, well, let's keep going forward. The tower protects the lamb from the false shepherd. Just loot these guys. I still don't have enough money. And there's no way to really get more money neither in this game except to keep walking forward. Because, you know, in the first two Bioshock games, there's a lot of areas where the enemies just patrol and they respawn. And so if you... oh, if that's the end of this area already, let me just talk a little bit before going in there. So if you bother to spend the time to just kind of slowly kind of grind through the enemies, you kind of accumulate more and more resources and upgrade your stuff. Like, you know, there's a certain RPG element to the first two Bioshock games where you can, you know, get more loot and then, you know, get more items by, you know, accumulating money like that. You can't really do that in this game. The enemies don't seem to respawn at all. So this is just a straight shooter. There's no strategy. There's no tactics. It's just you shoot things. It's so much dumber than the first two Bioshock games in terms of the gameplay. Even though the story is in some ways more intelligent, but the gameplay is dumber. Alright, let's go in, and I think I'll take another break here because we have another segment. Another area. Alright, and that's Monument Island in front of us.
Monument Island.
Well, let me take a break here and we'll come back. I think the next segment is quite a bit longer. So that was just action. That was just kind of riding the skylines and shooting people, and that's pretty much it. No storytelling in the last segment at all, was there? No, just action. Alright, well, I'll see you in the next video.